Welcome back, fam. So today we're going to be talking about my top 10 basic B palettes. I'm going to try not to cuss on my channel anymore because now that I have a kid, I do realize that that can be kind of a problem. So yeah, anyways, I have a potty mouth, but I'm going to try my best. I am not the original content creator for this video. I actually got the idea from Tara Lynn, and I believe she said she got the idea from someone else. However, I do not have time to look up who that person was, but I will put them on the screen and link them down below in case you want to go ahead and check out their videos as well. And without further ado, let's get into my top 10 basic B palettes. Alright, and before we get started, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you like beauty, makeup, skincare, lifestyle, all those types of things, I definitely would love it if you would stick around. So, spoiler alert, I'm not wearing any of these palettes today. Sorry if you hear my little boy grunting over there. He's making all sorts of noise. He's in his swing. I'm gonna try and get through this video without him getting too upset. So anyways, top 10 palettes, and these are gonna be in no particular order. They're just like the palettes that I think of when I think of very basic, very wearable, everyday, but like palettes that I absolutely love and can get so much use out of. Because let's be real, as much as I love to play in like all the colors and crazy textures and fun stuff, most of us like to wear pretty basic stuff on a daily basis, including myself. I mean, today I have literally one shadow on, and that's kind of how it goes in like my everyday life. So I feel like this can actually be quite helpful if you're looking for a new palette, especially because most of us don't, like I said, like to use anything too crazy or over the top. By the way, guys, I really hope you can't hear his swing that he is in. I'm gonna really try and edit that out if I can, but if it's there, I'm really sorry. Alrighty, so first up we have the Patrick Ta. Oop, you can see me there. Oh, and you can see my absolutely giant mess. Anyways, first up we have the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions palette. This is the first palette that he came out with, and this immediately came to mind when I thought of my top 10 palettes for this category. So you've got these beautiful creams over here, which make really great bases for any eye look that you're going to create. And you have all of these beautiful mattes. This one has a little bit of a shimmer, and so does this one. And then you have these beautiful textured shadows to play with. I honestly have never used this and not been just like blown away by it. I love this palette so much. Every look that you create is so beautiful and wearable, and I just love that you get like a very nice gradient in depth and the different textures, and you get the creams. Honestly, cannot go wrong with this palette, you guys. This is a great wearable everyday palette, and you can totally get glam with it if you want as well. I just love that you have these beautiful creams to layer with. I mean, they make great bases for any of your eye looks, and they're super pigmented, but yet when they go on, they don't end up smudging or creasing anywhere. They wear super well. And then you've got these beautiful textured shadows. This one in particular is just like to die for. I absolutely love it. I feel like that swatch did not do it justice. Hang on here. I'm not the best at swatching, so sorry about that. But, oh God, see, I still feel like it doesn't do it justice. But on the eyelid, you guys, it is literally so stinking beautiful. Absolutely love this palette. So next up, you guys, we have Pat McGrath. And okay, let's be clear before I tell you what palette this is. There is nothing basic about Pat McGrath, but if I were to choose one of her palettes to be I guess like the most user-friendly, most everyday wearable, aside from Divine Rose 1, I don't have that one, so I can't actually I can't judge it. It's in the mail, so it's coming. I do have it, but I have not tried it myself. That one does look very wearable, but aside from that one, I would say this is the most wearable palette that she has. And like I said, though, there's literally nothing basic about Pat McGrath. I mean, her shadows are just like to die for, and the glitters. But anyways, so the palette that I chose for this is the Midnight Sun palette, and here's what it looks like. And you might be thinking, well, hang on, there's a pop of color in here. But if you cover that up, look at how basic and neutral and wearable that is. And this little quad here, I mean, you could just live in this little area here. I mean, you could use that every single day. This in the crease, you could use this as liner or just to deepen the outer V, this on the lid or this on the lid, maybe this in the inner corner. And then if you do want to get a little bit crazy with it, you've got these beautiful glitter shadows. I mean, seriously, this is one of my favorite shades ever. And that all over the lid, even by itself, while it is glittery, sorry if you can hear baby boy, it's still very wearable and very elegant. It's like an elegant glitter. It's not like childish or, you know, I think sometimes the older we get a little bit afraid to use like shimmers and glitters, but this is like, Pat McGrath is like mature glitter. So I absolutely love this palette. Every time I use it, I come up with a look that I'm just absolutely in love with. I also think that this green is very wearable for a green. Like if you are someone who wants to get like just a little bit adventurous with color, I think that that is such a beautiful shade to do that with, but it's still like so neutral, so wearable. So anyways, this is my second pick and I absolutely love her shadows. Let me just swatch the special shades for you. I know this is a basic B palette video, but I mean, these shades, you can't go wrong. They're just so beautiful and the tones and shades of these are quite wearable. So that is what those look like. And yeah, I absolutely love this palette. Could not recommend it enough. Okay, next up we have my girl Natasha Denona, and I chose the Glam palette. I'm sure this is no surprise to some of you. This is a beautiful, cool toned, neutral palette, great for anybody who just wants a basic palette that's gonna work for every day, but this will also take you all the way up to like a very nighttime look. I absolutely love the shades in here. I recently did a little video series on my TikTok. If I was in the video series was if I was getting married today, what palette, I'm sorry, not what palette. The video series was if I was getting married today, how would I do my makeup? And this was the palette that I chose for that. And I do think that this is such a beautiful bridal palette. If I was freelancing, this would definitely be in my kit. The shimmers are so beautiful yet wearable. Let me just swatch a few of them for you. I'm gonna swatch those top three. I think that they're just so pretty. I mean, look at those. So wearable, yet so gorgeous. And I mean, you just can't go wrong. Literally like every shade in here, you could do like a one and done with. Aside from maybe this one, I mean, this wouldn't do much for your lid. You have so many shades in here that you could just whack on the lid and be good to go. Today, I literally have one shade on my eye and then just some bronzer in my crease. And I feel like you could do that with literally every single shimmer in this palette. And then you've also got like all of these beautiful basic mattes to work with. And a lot of these could be one and dones as well. And let me just swatch a couple more of these shimmers for you guys because honestly, they are so gorgeous and I want to show them to you. So yes, this is my next choice. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And if you are a cool toned lover, this is like the #1 palette that I could recommend for you. This is the cool tone palette to have. I absolutely love this and it's gonna look good on everybody. Okay, you guys, this next palette that I have to recommend just makes me smile when I look at it. It is so freaking beautiful. And I'm telling you, if I lost everything, this would definitely be going back in my collection. I'd be going out and buying it right away. And y'all, I stand to make no money from recommending this to you guys, so you know I absolutely love it. I do not have a link for this product at all. It is kind of expensive, I will warn you, but it is the Vanity Makeup Palette. So first of all, can we just examine this packaging? Look at how freaking heavy duty and beautiful that is. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And then you open it and it's like, ah, seriously. I mean, look at those shades. I love that you get like such a beautiful gradient from light to dark. I love that you have this beautiful like taupe tone and then a little bit warmer matte for transition. And then you've got this light matte to blend everything out with. Also, you guys, if you like black, this is the blackest shadow. I mean, seriously, the deepest black that I think I have ever used. And then just look at all of these beautiful textures. I mean, good God. They're freaking beautiful. And I mean, it's one of those palettes that every time I put it on, I just honestly feel so pretty. And I don't know, I can't rave about it enough. It is seriously like the epitome of a basic B palette, but like next level. It's just so freaking pretty. Let me go ahead and swatch some of these shimmers for you because I mean, good Lord, I can't rave about them enough. They are phenomenal. Ugh, I mean, for real. Look at those, you guys. Oof, I need to get better at swatching, seriously. Let me, hang on, clean my hands off. I'm gonna swatch that last shimmer for you guys as well. And I'm gonna touch up some of these. So that is what those look like. I just think that they are seriously some of the prettiest shadows. Sometimes I really feel like camera does not do it justice either. Actually, I feel like that a lot of the time, especially because like I'm not someone who's great with a camera, so trying to like show you guys, it's sometimes a little bit difficult for me, but trust me when I say these are honestly just like next level shimmers. This formula for me, so number one formula for me is Pat McGrath, okay? And these 100% compete with her. The price tag is up there with Pat McGrath. It's not quite as expensive as that. I think this is $95, whereas Pat McGrath's Mothership palettes are $128. But either way, I mean, this competes with it, and I think it's absolutely one of the prettiest palettes in my collection, if not the prettiest, as far as basic palettes go. Alrighty, so this next palette I want to talk about is from Viseart. Now this was gifted to me, just a full disclaimer for our disclosure, and this is their Grande Pro 1X, and this is an all matte palette. However, this is like the only matte palette you will ever need. So this is perfect if you are someone who really does not play in shimmer often. I mean, really cover up those 3 shades right there, and you have every neutral matte shade that you could ever want in your entire life. This is another one that if like my entire collection disappeared, I would run out and get this right away. I think it is so beautiful. Also, Viseart's formula is honestly one of the best. I would say it's probably one of the most user-friendly, beginner-friendly. Because it's very buildable, and there's just something about it where it almost like legitimately blends itself out. I also love that you have all of these light shades, all of these dark shades. Like the gradient from light to dark is so nice, and that makes it super easy to blend shadows out. Because like, let's say you go in with like one of these like mid-tone shades or even one of the darker ones, and you're like, oh man, like I kind of packed a little bit too much of that on. Then you have all of these light shades over here to go in and then like buff that out with and create like that gradient with. It just really makes it so easy, and I just love that you have literally every shade you could ever want. It's so beautiful. And again, thank you Viseart for sending that over to me. I absolutely love this thing. Okay, next up we have a little itty bitty palette. So this is my Natasha Denona mini, what is this one? This is the mini glam palette. So mine is actually broken, as you can see. I've used this thing a ton. This goes with me every single time that I travel, and I think that if you are looking to just like dip into Natasha Denona, you like want to get your toes wet and see if you like her formula, this is a great option because, well, for one, the shades are extremely wearable. You're going to get a lot of use out of them. And I just feel like this is a really great representation of what you're going to be getting with all of her palettes. So the formula to me is very consistent to and matches with her larger palettes, either the middies and the bigger ones. And anyways, these shades are just absolutely beautiful. I love them. Let me swatch a couple for you. This shade here on the bottom, oh, one of my favorite shimmers ever. It is just so beautiful all over the lid. I mean, I've got shimmer everywhere, but as you can see, it's just a beautiful like champagne-y shade. And then this one also, I haven't used it enough, but it's beautiful all over the lid for like a very quick and simple smoky eye. Totally love that. I really need to work on my swatches, you guys. I'm not great at it. But anyways, the shades in there are just absolutely beautiful and very user-friendly, and I think this is a great option if you're looking to dip your toes into Natasha Denona. And like I said, this literally goes with me every single time I travel. Okay, next up, let's talk about another little mini palette. So this was also gifted to me by Viseart, and this is their Praline little quad. It's the quad and praline. So this is what she looks like. I love the looks that I've created with this, and while this shade doesn't look like you would get like a ton of depth with it, this is the only matte. This one's sort of satin and these two are shimmers, but this matte is so versatile. Like I feel like you can really buff it out and you get a very nice gradient, and then you can really pack it on and it gives you like really great depth. It's actually quite surprising. Like I looked at this and I thought, oh, like I'm almost gonna only be able to get like one look out of this, but totally not true. You can really build this up. Also, something about these shimmers with blue eyes, you guys, when I've worn this, it's like my eyes are just like beaming. Absolutely love this, and I think it's totally beautiful. Let me swatch some of these shimmers for you. I'll just swatch all of them. Okay, so here are the top two shades. Very beautiful. Look at those. Okay, and then here are the bottom two. This is the matte here. So That is what those look like. Very beautiful, basic, everyday. This will also be coming with me when I travel from now on. I can guarantee you that. I love the way that this makes my eyes look. And yeah, I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so next we're going to be venturing over a little bit into like more of the like berry tones. I feel like all the palettes I've talked about so far have been more like neutrally brown, but you can definitely get some nice neutral sort of berry shades in there that I think are very basic but just so incredibly beautiful and wearable. And the first palette that I want to talk about is by ABH, or Anastasia Beverly Hills, and that is the original Norvina palette. So this, you might look at this and think like that's not super basic, but it really is. I mean, seriously, cover up this one and this one, which I would still use those shades, but just saying those two are not like the most wearable or neutral. And you have this beautiful neutral palette with like these sort of like berries and purples in there. This is by far my favorite palette that ABH has ever come out with. First of all, the shimmers in here are next level. Love them. They're absolutely beautiful. And then I love this mustard shade, and then you've got this beautiful like taupey mauve. I just love everything about this palette, honestly. It is so freaking beautiful. And let me swatch some of my favorite shades for you. So rose gold, absolutely beautiful. Let me show you. Oh, that on the lid, so beautiful, but it's so wearable also. It's like that beautiful berry rose goldy. Also the shade Dazzling, it's a little bit more taupey compared to that, and it's also another one that's just beautiful all over the lid. Absolutely love that. And you've got Summer, another lid shade that I just am obsessed with. I really just love this palette so much, you guys. It's so beautiful. Look at those. They're so stinking, hang on, let me move that over a little bit. They're so pretty. I mean, good Lord. I can't get enough of them. Can't get enough. Also, I tend to love like neutral shades that have a bit of yellow in them for some reason. With the shade of blue that my eyes are, that just tends to really, really accentuate them. And this like mustardy sort of yellow matte is, it's called Eccentric. I just absolutely love that with my blue eyes. So if you have blue eyes, I'm telling you guys, you need this palette. It's so pretty. And yeah, while it does venture over into like sort of like the berry tones, I still think it's very basic, very wearable, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Alrighty, so the next palette I want to talk about actually came in a BoxyCharm box, which kind of shocks me because I feel like while I do like the palettes that come in the boxes, they're never like, I shouldn't say never, but a lot of times they're not like my absolute favorite. Like there's not necessarily anything wrong with them, but I have so much to choose from already that like they would never make it into like a top rankings video. That's just kind of how it is. But this one definitely stole my heart right away. Sorry if you can hear my doggy. This is the Wander Beauty Wanderous Escape palette. So I'm hoping this is still in stock because last time I talked about this, it was really hard for me to find it online, but let's talk about it. So we're gonna get rid of that blue, right? That's just one shade in there. I mean, you can totally use that pop of color if you want, but the rest of this, so stinking wearable. And look at those shimmers, you guys. They are so beautiful, and every time I use this, I'm just blown away by not only the formula, but just the looks that I come up with. I just end up feeling so beautiful, and they're so wearable. Yeah, so let me go ahead and swatch some of these for you. So this is the shade Flourish. You've got this beautiful like pinky mauve. So this is the shade Flourish. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. And then you've got Daydream. I have used this one a lot. I really like this champagne color. I'm a sucker for a good champagne. Oh, look at that. So pretty. And then next we've got Moonlit. So it's the shade here. It's the lightest shimmer in the palette. Oh yeah, look at that. So pretty. I just love that. And then let me also swatch for you this Stargaze shade. I think it's really pretty. I haven't actually used this one yet though, I don't think, but it's very wearable, very beautiful. Oh yeah, look at those shades. And then you've got these beautiful mattes to play with. You've got like this nice mauve so that, you know, you can go that route if you want, or if you want to keep it more in like the brown family, you've got these to work with. I just think that this is absolutely gorgeous, and I have loved every single look that I have ever done with this. So it makes it into the top 10 basic B palettes. By the way, I really think that Wander Beauty is one of those brands that is so completely underrated, and that includes their eyeshadows. I have had several palettes from them and I've always been impressed. I think the mattes blend well and the shimmers are always very impactful and beautiful. Yeah, I feel like they are not talked about enough. They have some really beautiful products. Like, I love their cream blush. It's literally my absolute favorite. They've also got those eyeshadow duos that I think are so great for anybody that's like in a hurry. So yeah, I really love Wander Beauty and they need to be talked about more. All right, you guys, last and certainly not least, we have the Natasha Denona Retro Palette. So I think when this launched, a lot of people were initially kind of disappointed with it just because they were expecting some of those like green shades that were in the mini retro. However, I absolutely love this, and I think that if you're someone who loves neutral sort of like berry eye looks, this you can't go wrong with. It is honestly so beautiful, and especially this like 6 shades right here. If you stay on that side of the palette, I'm telling you, the looks that you end up coming up with are so freaking beautiful, and they're just like this beautiful cool toned like berry mauve, and it's one of my favorite little sections to dip into in my entire collection. While this isn't necessarily like neutral browns, I think that this is extremely wearable and basic and you really can't go wrong. Let me just swatch some of these for you. So this is the shade Jude. I think that this one is honestly so beautiful. Ooh, look at that all over the lid. Yes, Natasha shimmers, man. And then let's go with Glitz. I think this is also a beautiful shade. Oh yeah, it's like got that bit of duochrome where it sort of flips like gold, like sort of like think like NARS Orgasm, but a little bit lighter, or much lighter, but it's got like that sort of gold pinky flip, right? And then you've also got Psychedelic, which I've used a ton, and it's got like a little bit more glitter in it. Super beautiful, absolutely love those. I mean, you seriously cannot beat Natasha Denona's shimmers. And then you've got Helio. I think that's another great lid shade. Beautiful one and done. Absolutely gorgeous. And then let me swatch some of the mattes. So Nude Mauve is probably one of my favorite mattes in the palette. I think that's absolutely beautiful. You whack that in the crease and any of these on the lid and you're good to go. And then Opart also is another favorite of mine. This is her cream to powder formula. Beautiful, like taupey, sort of mauve. It's got like a little bit of a purple undertone, but still very basic and wearable. And then Andy is another beautiful one that I like. This is like a nice pinky mauve. Oh, so pretty. It actually looks much more pink on the screen than it does in person. And I also love that you've got this really nice light matte to go ahead and blend everything out with. So those are just some of my favorite shadows from the palette. And yeah, I think this is quite wearable and quite basic, but honestly, so beautiful. And yeah, I mean, you guys know Natasha Denona's formula is one of the best. All right, guys, if you'd made it this far, I just want to say thank you for sticking around and watching. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe. Also, of course, like the video if you found this helpful, entertaining, or any of that. If you liked the video, please just give it a thumbs up. Yeah, and until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.